Still well and truly alive. Kenya, very much the surprise package against another South American nation. Argentina coming up in this quarterfinal. Philippa, Kenya is a team that really impressed, not just you, but everybody.
Yeah, they've really caught a lot of people by surprise, but it's great to see, and that's what you love about Sevens. They've really started to gel together as a team. They've got some strong ball carriers, and they are just relentless in defence. They may not have the most organised defence, but it's gutsy and it's ruthless, and it's really been troubling teams.
Well, Argentina, we saw a huge emotional outpouring from them when they secured victory over Belgium in their second match. And they carried that emotional momentum forward to a handsome victory over Papua New Guinea. That's how they've set up this quarterfinal tie against a crop of Kenyan ladies.
I hear you, Rocky.
By Captain Grace Okulu. His own words, came here as underdogs, and they feel like they have been underestimating you anymore, girls. They put on a physical and clinical show. A lot of variety to their attack, plenty of physicality in their defence. A real handful.
We're okay?
Yeah, tackle tech for the Argentinian team is going to have to be absolutely spot on.
So the second quarterfinal is underway with Argentina kicking into the hands of Kenya. Kenya undefeated, that big victory against China, who we just saw in action, progressing through to the semi-finals. That was their big victory. That was the one that sent them on the way to defeating
Love the shoulder.
South Africa next. And then going on to top the pool. Beating the home side Chile earlier today.
Use it now, please.
Argentina being swarmed upon in their own 22. No respite from the Lionesses just yet. Oh, he's come off the ball at the crucial time.
Tackle.
Well, the prospect of a Kenyan flying up at you when you're receiving the ball on the 5-metre line is like...
That I was referring to, it's like a personal vendetta on every single player. They've just got such a brilliant, aggressive attitude in defence.
Well, the Kenyan ladies have been spoken about as a bit of a surprise package this weekend, but it's something that has been building because they were at the last Olympics. They featured in the Malaga Sevens as well during the COVID era, coming up against the likes of France and Russia and the USA. They come up against big teams. They've been in big tournaments, so they've really begun to hone their sevens craft, and I think it's coming to fruition here in Santiago. This Argentinian side are not here to make up the numbers. They go probing down the left-hand side through their try-scorer, Antonella Redding, who's been filling her boots here on Chilean soil this weekend. Ugly, muscular play in the middle of the field finally brings a penalty. Not much opportunity for flair out there just at the moment.
Play it, please.
And Argentina drive that penalty well into the Kenyan 22. A very, very nice piece of attacking real estate to launch an attack from.
Yeah, really good opportunity for them. And you just see there, it's Lindo lying on the wrong side of the road. You've got to make more of an effort to get out of there.
contest and well spoiled by the Kenyans. Here come the Lionesses. They weave back to the left side. Good offloading, lovely soft hands, low down, stooping off the laces. And a bit of an opportunity down the short side. Cristabel Lindo. Off she goes, stretching her legs. She won't be caught. And the Tokyo 2020 Olympian gets a try early in this quarterfinal.
That was a gutsy gamble. There was only a metre between the ruck and the sideline, and there were two Argentinian players behind that ruck on feet, yet she backed herself, backed her pace. Good on her.
No conversion added. And you got to say that's going to be so disappointing for Argentina as well, who really worked their way up into the Kenyan 22. An error on the line out, albeit under pressure from the Kenyans. And right in the blink of an eye, they're under their own poles.
Yeah, it's a cruel blow, but like you say, it was good work by the Kenyans at that line out.
Well, the concession of the try is compounded by the knock-on from Maria Taladrid. Just a little wry smile. She knows that she's better than that.
Takes it out the ball.
Bind. Set. Behind the ball, 9.
Ball squirts out the back for Kenya, but it's nice, clean ball. Just there, Okulu holding the ball out on a platter, inviting runners.
Tackler.
She doesn't get any, but she does get the penalty. Lovely delayed ball to an on-rushing Judith Okumu. And Judith Okumu timed that run to perfection. The weight of the pass, the delay of the dish. Kenya looking very slick right now.
Yeah, it's just a couple of tackles leading up to that from Argentina where they're not quite getting them to deck. That is the strength and the power of this running. Kenyans can run such direct, hard lines.
Time off.
A brace against South Africa in the second game.
Just another moment, please. Thank you.
One here in the quarterfinal. Turning into a nice little weekend
Thank
for
you.
Judith Okumu.
Are you ready to kick? Cool. Time back on, please.
We haven't even said the name of Janet Okelo yet, a player who I absolutely love to see on the ball.
Scrum advantage.
And at the moment, just the physicality of the Kenyans is proving problematic for the Argentinians. They're looking a little bit tentative, hesitant in everything they do, and seems to be
Bind.
sort of creating. We haven't even said the name of Janet Okelo yet, a player who I absolutely love to see on the ball.
Scrum advantage.
And at the moment, just the physicality of the Kenyans is proving problematic for the Argentinians. They're looking a little bit tentative, hesitant in everything they do, and seems to be
Bind.
sort of creating messy ball.
Yeah, it's almost the fear of the
Behind the ball,
oncoming,
please.
isn't it?
Two Kenyan defenders drag Matush to the ground. Nice bit of footwork. Hernandez offloading, finding Redding. Last play of the half. Wouldn't it be a nice time for the Argentinians to get themselves on the board?
Clear
No
release.
tackle release.
Scrum, please.
Interesting call going for the scrum.
Yeah, against one of the most physical teams here, that is debatable.
Onto your hooker, please.
I think that's a bit tight. She wasn't actually the tackler being completed, and then she came in, so she didn't need to show
Bind.
a clear release, so to speak.
Set.
Nice tidy ball for Argentina to attack. There's a dog leg and there's a good dart. The netball pass. That's Redding flying onto it. Goodness me, poleaxed in the tackle. But Argentina back on the ball. The bounce pass, the dummy. Give it one more. Can't go to hand. Argentina scrapping to keep this ball alive. That's a lovely smuggle into the 22. Argentina doing a wonderful job of keeping it alive. The hands will do it if it can go. Oh, it was just too ponderous from Jimena Matouche. He needed to go quicker. That was the opportunity. But it's opportunity lost, and Kenya head to the huddles, leading 12-0. A big 7 minutes remaining for both these sides in our second quarter-final. Well, how would you be feeling if you're an Argentinian player right now, Philip? Trailing by 12, up against a quality outfit. You had to really fight for any opportunity, but it may not have gone to hand there at the end. But they did manage to carve out a glimmer.
Yeah, and that'll be like the one thing that'll be in their mind is where they finished on the field in, a good attacking position. Yes, they should have been more clinical and got that ball away, but they know that they can shorten the Kenyans' defence if they just get a series of play together. But they've got to work harder on their tackle tech. They've got to chop players lower. So at the moment, Kenyans are able to sort of bounce players off, fend, keep the ball alive. And it's making the Argentinian defence work so hard. But you know what? Credit to Kenya, because like you say, we've seen them on the world stage, and the one question I would have had about them then was their conditioning. They were powerful athletes. They could play some good rugby, but they couldn't last it, whereas it looks like they've really worked on that. They're not tiring towards the end of the games. If anything, they're getting stronger and they're kicking on.
Notice served to all of the teams out there. Well, remarkably, this Kenyan side is built as the next generation, that they're bringing some of the more seasoned campaigners, some of the names that we're used to seeing in the jersey aren't here this weekend at the Challenger Series, but they look really composed, they look really confident, and they look like they're doing everything with conviction and confidence. Do these young Kenyan Lionesses dare to dream? Could they propel themselves up to core status on the HSBC World Rugby 7 Series? Well, they've done half the job against Argentina thus far.
Of the shoulder.
A high tackle, the only way to bring down the Argentinian attack on that occasion.
Play it, please.
And I wonder, is taking the pace out of the game, who's that going to suit more?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, isn't it? I mean, it does depend on at which point you are on the field as well. Obviously, you don't really ever want to take out the pace if you're camped out on their 22. It's not the worst thing when you're in your half, depending on what you've just done leading up to that. Just had a big defensive set, then yeah, take the pace off it, even if you are leading or you've just got a big turnover. But in a position like this, I personally think Argentina need to step it up. They need to keep going, apply pressure, play with some tempo.
No, we'll do it on the next one. Sorry.
They take the line out nice and smartly, and they get outside the first defender. Now they set themselves free into the hands of their arch try scorer, Antonella Redding. She got gathered in, she threw the speculator inside. A hat-trick and a brace to her name so far in this competition. A real touch of class out wide. Goodness me, it is brutal in those contact areas. Argentina stepping up in terms of physicality here in the second half.
Tackler.
Move!
Speaking of tempo, the Kenyans want to play. What a hit, low and driving. Things breaking up a little bit out there now, and it's into the hands of the woman who started all that try scoring back in the first half. It was a cheeky dart down the blind for the first one. It's a spacious jaunt down the right for the second. Christabel Lindo in and across for the first try of this second half.
That'll be a really frustrating one for Argentina to concede. Again, it's just down to the Kenyans' physicality. Just managing to get that leg drive in, suck in a couple of players. It just shortens, every single contact shortens the line of the defence. That's a lovely wraparound on the edge. Reading that the player who got tackled had the ability to get that offload away, so she didn't need to get into the contact.
Thank you.
She could stay alive, run the wrap, and she'd get the ball.
High fives all round. Warm embraces. There's that growing sense amongst these Lionesses that they've got another game to play. It's no ordinary game.
Are you ready to go time on?
It's a semi-final.
Time on, please.
But as we all well know, 3 minutes and 46 seconds is an eon in the game of rugby sevens. But Argentina, again,
Time off.
not helping themselves with the handling
Black
from the
three.
kickoffs.
No, and look at where they've ended up now. Literally on their 22, all from a kickoff. Just went over her head there.
Cool. Thank you.
Well, Argentina, they've come here with realistic expectations of themselves. They will be pretty pleased with their performances against Papua New Guinea,
Set.
against Belgium. They're excited to play Poland, the European champions. Now they're coming up against Olympic pedigree women. Oh, a show and a go, and the entire Argentinian defence buys it hook, line and sinker. I mentioned her in the first half. She delivers on demand. It's Janet Akelo in the tries once again.
Yeah, really good little show and go. But you see there, number 11 from Argentina, Redding, she needed to push up harder on that. It would have cut down that option, but she stands off and pretty much just invites then the wraparound, giving the player the outside edge.
No conversion to add, and Janet Akelo is a fine example of where this wonderful sport can take you. Currently playing her rugby in Yokosuka City in Japan. She put herself on the world stage. This sport put her on the world stage. And look at her jet setting around now. Playing in one of the rugby hotbeds of the Far East. And this is what all of these nations are trying to achieve. They want to get onto this World Series. They know the destinations it can take them, but it also just speaks to them about the quality of teams that they could be playing week in, week out. It is such a prize.
Oh, it's huge. It's absolutely, it's life-changing. It's the biggest tournament that these women would have played in so far, the opportunity to become professional.
Well, that pass, just asking too much.
It was touched. No quick.
Just asking too much of the winger. Argentina looking to take it quickly.
Sub. Black number 6.
But it is a replacement time.
Here, please. Thank you.
Stella
Yeah.
Nalima.
Still time off. Time off, please.
leaving the field of play. There's Judith Okumu, the captain.
Time off, yeah.
And here are Argentina's final 60 seconds.
Time on, please.
In the main cup competition. They get as a part of the quarter-final stage with their heads held very high indeed. 2 good wins. The marquee one against the European side from Belgium, the one that teased the tears from the Tear Ducks. And are we going to see a spectacular individual solo effort from their arch try scorer, Antonella Redding? You betcha. What a try to end their quarter-final on. A great moment for the Argentinians.
Yeah, a huge moment for them. Obviously, it's too late now to chase the game, but you know what? When you can walk away from a game like this and you got points on the board, that really does mean something. To be nilled at this stage would have been absolutely devastating. Lovely little bit of footwork, get the ball into her hands early, step 1, step 2, and then she puts the burners on. And you know what, credit to the Kenyans, there are some speedy players chasing back then. But Redding does so well just to do that little weave. Just putting her out of reach there.
The Kenyans happy to boot the ball over the touchline. It is mission accomplished for the Lionesses. They prowl their way to the semi-finals with great grace. It is farewell to Argentina, but it is muchas gracias for their efforts, for the tries of Antonella Redding, and for another chapter written in the development of this Women's Sevens programme. Warm embraces all round. Great spirit shown amongst these players. Oh, you just love to see that, don't you?
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant.
Well, we're hoping to hear from Judith Okumu, the Kenyan captain. That is if the Kenyans and the Argentinians can be drawn away from each other, catching up about the contest that was and the competition that is.
I think there was a little bit of translation going on in between the players as well.